Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Our parsha this Shabbat is Pekudei, Accountings of. It is the final Torah reading in the book of Exodus. It describes the making of the priestly garments that were worn in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle, and then actually the completion of its construction. At God's command, Moses then erects the Mishkan, puts all of the vessels in place, and then God's presence fills the Mishkan. Build it, and they will come. Moses heard the call. He relayed the instructions. The Israelites donated some of their most prized possessions, and they all built this Mishkan, this dwelling place for God. We built Emet, our Mishkan Tefillah, from the ground up, hoping that people would come. And they did. Time has passed, and we have lost some. But the passion, the commitment, and the devotion to Torah, Emet, and God still survives. We built a dwelling place for God to rest among us. Many ask as times grow tough, and all reason is cast aside, where is God? The entire world has suffered tremendous loss and a shared struggle against the oppression and unrelenting terror of this pandemic, and yet that is not enough. Man's inhumanity to man never ceases, and that is not God. Amidst all of the struggle and the turmoil, democracy is threatened at every turn, and safety seems to be an elusive dream. Peace, even more so. God is in the underdog, in the courage of the small to become as mighty as they can to overcome the tyranny and the evil that exists in this world. In the Maccabees, in David and Goliath, in Joseph overcoming his brothers, and the Purim and Passover stories, to just name a few. This is our history. This is what is flowing within our DNA of our own being. The people of Ukraine are mighty warriors, filled with passion and an unyielding spirit. Their courage and their devotion to democracy is an example of all that is good in the human spirit as it struggles to keep the principles of morality and justice alive. The end is something yet to be seen, but as the drama unfolds, God can be found in their fortitude and in all of the nations coming together to unite against an evil that cannot be allowed to win. There is good, and yes, there is bad in everyone. Darkness and light to be found in every single situation. We have to look. There are people who will find merit on both sides of the equation. God is in the details and the actions of those who pursue truth, emet, and justice for all. As one global humanity, we look at the Pekudei, we look at the accountings, and we must measure our beliefs and our actions against all that is evil and root it out once and for all. Parsha Pekudei wraps up the book of Exodus, summarizing our journey from slavery to freedom. In a text from Live Kabbalah, it is stated that the Zohar teaches that the universe is networked with laws by which it operates, and their purpose is to connect us with infinite light. We must act according to the law of affinity and become beings that share and love unconditionally. When we behave in a selfish, negative way, that stops the flow of abundance. The way to achieve freedom is through taking responsibility for ourselves and the society in which we live. When we ignore injustice, then we are helping it, becoming partners in crime. Being free means being responsible for our environment, our world, each other. Kabbalists teach that we are in an era of new awareness for the human race, An awareness of compassion, love, caring for others, and taking command of ourselves, including our society and our environment. The concept of community, democracy, and justice will take on a new and more effective form in this era. Indeed, little by little, we will see changes happening all around the world. In the way of those great Kabbalists, everyone has to work hard to create an infrastructure for a community which has responsibility and command over everyone, where there is transparency and accountability. Such an array gives great power and the ability to control ourselves and our emotions, to turn death and slavery and war into life, freedom, and true peace. And when that awareness and worldview permeates us and our environment, we will then be able to truly experience freedom, the freedom that God intended for us. However, liberation and freedom, unfortunately, does not come without casualty or cost. History has shown us this throughout the millennia. We can only pray that good will prevail over evil, and that the lives lost and the structures that have been built only to tumble down will count toward the creation of something greater, something stronger, something more resilient. That the sacrifice will bear fruit, as history has also shown. There is no measure to the pain and the heartache that we feel as the world watches from the comfort of our living room couches. May our prayers be worthy and merit goodness for all who are suffering. May God rise up to dwell amidst the rubble and ruin to help restore peace and order. May the new era foreshadowed by those enlightened Kabbalists come to fruition in our time. And may the divine Shekhinah cast light upon all, so that truth, Emet, justice, democracy, and true shalom, peace, may be restored. May our collective prayers be heard on high. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May God be with us. Shabbat Shalom.